Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hello, everybody. This is Joanne Kandrak with Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. And today we are on episode 49. And I'm so excited to introduce our guest speaker. His name is Jeff Hylton. And he is the guy behind the ARK on Lake Lanier vacation rental.
So as we continue our discussion about design, marketing, and all the unique qualities of vacation rental properties, we're super excited to talk to Jeff because he has such a cool place. And we talked about the ARK on Lake Lanier in a previous show that you've probably listened to, but we found it while doing research for that podcast. And we were just so impressed with his facility, the story behind it. And so we really wanted to bring him on so we could share more about it with you guys.
Okay, so the ARK on Lake Lanier, it's a family-owned business and a ministry, and it began its operation as a vacation rental back in 2013. So welcome, Jeff, and thanks so much for joining us today. The story of the ARK is a pretty incredible one, so would you kind of give us a quick rundown on how this all came to be?
Hi, Joanne and Kelly. Thank you for having me on. The ARK is a pretty cool story. We were actually living in Atlanta. Was there for 10 years and decided that it was time to move and follow the grandparents up to Gainesville, Georgia to get the free babysitting. And so we moved to Gainesville and found a place and moved to it. But after about 2.5 years, we decided that wasn't the place for us and wanted to move to the other side of town and found this wonderful property. And I was just smitten with it. I was just drawn to it and just could not. The guy told me it wasn't actually even for sale. We had looked at another house, and this person had just bought this house, and so he had two houses. And as I was looking at it, I kept on coming back 2 or 3 or 4 times, and was just smitten with the property, and just truthfully felt a calling of some sort that this was our next place. I mean, it was flat to the water and no trees, and it was unlike the place that I was currently living in. It looked like a place I could have 4-wheelers and zip lines and just golf carts and animals and all kinds of fun. So I was drawn to the place, but
it wasn't for sale, so you couldn't have it.
It wasn't for sale. That's right. The guy did say, "Hey, I'll sell it to you for 50% more than I just paid for it 2 weeks ago." But I was like, "Yeah, no, thanks. A little bit pricey for me." And so, but then as life happens, and my dad, who lived in Augusta, got a brain tumor, and as he got this brain tumor, we found this out. We decided as a family that we would move to Augusta to take care of him. So I basically walked away from this house that I loved, and really we rented a house in Augusta, kept our place in Gainesville, and moved there to take care of him. And at the time, my kids were homeschooled. Alicia was taking care of them and teaching them. And
how old were your kids at the time?
They were like 8 and 7 and 2.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they were
Goodness.
Were very young.
Wow.
But I made a deal with God at the time because I felt like this place was a calling. And I made a deal with God. I said, "All right, God, if you want me to have this place, I'm walking away and you're going to have to bring it back to me." And so as strange as that seems, we moved to Augusta, took care of my dad for 6 months. And 6 months later, I get an email from these people that had the house. And they said, "Jeff, we can't sell our first house. We now have 2 mortgages. We're going to have to sell this one. We know you love it. We're going to give you the first right."
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I just had the major chills.
Yeah. So I said, "Okay, God, I think this is you bringing it back to me." So we ended up doing a deal, bought the house, started renovating it while we were still living in Augusta. And my dad passed away in March of '07, and that was, he had a terminal brain cancer, and we had 10 and a half months with him. No regrets. So glad that we moved there. And we ended up buying the house, renovating it. And after about 8 months, I think summer of 2007, we moved into the house.
Okay.
And we were there for 1 year when we had a house fire. Labor Day of '08. We were at Hilton Head with my mother, vacationing, and we got a call from a guy that was there taking care. At the time, we lived at the Ark. We had goats and chickens and alpacas. We had all these animals, the kids. We had these golf carts. We were just living the life. And Labor Day of '08, I work in the finance business, and the market had crashed. The lake Lanier was down 25 feet, and our house burned. So that period of time was quite wrenching for us. Somehow I actually convinced my wife, Alicia, to stay down at Hilton Head for the weekend because there was nothing we could do after the house burned. But we came back and to Monday after Labor Day to a burned out house, and we had to move out for 8 months. So our friends Ray and Jody Benson found us a place at Harbor Point, and we moved away for 8 months and cleaned up the house. And truthfully, when we got back, we hadn't done any other renovation work. We hadn't added on, and we got back to the house and realized I felt like we were supposed to add more bedrooms, and so which was a crazy idea. The economy was in a recession. Nobody was doing any building. Things were in shambles, and I had this idea that I thought was from God that we're supposed to add more bedrooms. Why would you do that? We weren't going to. We were just going to live there. I don't even know. But we started about a year and a half later. We started adding more bedrooms onto the place, and so went from a 10 or 11 bedroom house to a 13 or 14 bedroom house.
Oh, my God.
So you already had 10 or 11, so you decided you needed more?
You know what?
If I was your friend, I would have said, "What drug are you on?"
Okay, I had many friends that said, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And all I could tell you was I felt like God spoke to me and said, "Add more bedrooms." Then that's the only reason I don't have it. People thought we were crazy. So we spent the next year and a half adding bedrooms and made it up to and there's cabins on the property. It's 10 bedrooms in the house, and then there's 3 cabins that have a total of 4 bedrooms. And so when we got done, we're sitting there like, okay, we got 5 of them. I got 3 kids and my wife. What are we going to do in this place? And all of a sudden, we started using it for ministry and started using it for missionaries coming over from overseas in Haiti and Kenya and Guatemala and other places that would come and use it. And so they would come and stay there and just use the place while we were there with them. And then in 2012, 18 missionaries were moving to town from working with Adventures in Missions here locally in Gainesville. They were coming from all over the world for a mission school, and their housing fell through. So my wife said, "Hey, why don't we invite the 3 guys out of the 18 to come live in one of our cabins?" And I said, "Well, why don't we just invite all 18 to come live with us?"
We've got the bedrooms.
We got the bedrooms, and we did. And so in September of 2012, we had 18 people move in. And it was glorious chaos. We didn't make one big pot of oatmeal in the mornings. We had 18 meals going on, plus us getting our kids ready they were going to school by this time, and had them going to, making meals and things. And so they all moved in.
How long did they stay for?
Well, they were planning for about 10 months. And so,
oh my God. Yeah, this
is not a short-term rental.
No, this was not a short-term rental at the time, but they stayed for 10 months. We moved out after 2 months. So we said, "Y'all take the place. We're gonna let you guys have it, and we're gonna move into town." And we moved into town, and they stayed until June of 2013. And right before they moved out, a few months, I had another, what I felt was a idea. I say it was from God. I think it was from God, but we'd been using this as a ministry house, and I got this phrase in my mind that we needed to make it a self-sustaining ministry house. And so I put it on VRBO for a very little bit of money, and I was inundated with requests all over the place. And that's how we got our start with the VRBO and the vacation rental industry, was just putting it on to see if we could cover our cost to still use it for ministry, especially in the off season, but just to have it pay for itself instead of us paying for it.
The story is really, really incredible. And I know it's on your site. So if anybody wants to go and look at that, it's the ARK on Lake Lanier. The whole fire, it's such a karma thing.
But I also love that you have this entrepreneurial spirit and you're faithful at the same time. So you're open to conversations with the Lord, and then and you're led in certain directions, but you're also very courageous to follow those ideas, like you say.
And you had a wife that was willing to go along.
Yeah, and kids. My kids would have been like, no.
We don't want these people here.
Yeah.
Yes, my wife is amazing. Her name is Alicia, and she has a natural knack. And I've looked at you guys' stuff. You guys have some amazing work. I think you guys and my wife would get along amazingly, but she is the whole decorating and design. We had some help from a lady named Tanya Kane in Atlanta 10 years ago that we used to live in the neighborhood with, but Alicia was able to make some of her own light fixtures, and just she has got this knack for decorating. And so
it's a 12,000 square foot home, so wow, to come up with the furnishings and the design, that's pretty awesome.
That's a big job.
It's a big job, and thankfully that is not my calling. That's hers. And so I defer all of that to her, but she does an amazing job. And even to this day, she continues to make it better and make it very inviting for our guests. And so
you're a good team. You're a good team then.
We're a great team.
So it sleeps 45 people. So you've got a lot of people coming and going and using everything. Like in terms of furnishings, like what kind of things have kind of stood the test of time and what have not, like in your experience?
From when we lived there, the hardest part for us was figuring out what to leave and what to bring back with us to our next home and to take with us. And because, as you know, in rentals, things don't get taken care of sometimes. So, that's been a constant struggle with trying to figure out what is the good stuff. Because my wife has got great taste, and she has quality stuff, but she's also amazing at finding stuff on Craigslist and other places. She can curate furniture from all different places, whether it's Home Goods or Restoration Hardware Outlet or other places. And so we love to stick with high quality, and the high quality stuff lasts a lot longer, but we do have to clean it frequently. And obviously there's been some disaster stories like every vacation rental has, when people don't take care of your stuff. That's just a normal part of life. So
does she paint a lot of stuff?
Well, she has it painted. I mean, she does things like takes these wine bottles and makes light fixtures out of it. I mean, there's all kinds of unique things. I don't even know where she gets her ideas, but she's just got a very creative mind. But she does some painting, but I'd say that's not her forte. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's, and those are the little touches that people just eat up when they are looking at vacation rentals. It just makes it even more of a dream vacation or, experience when they get to your home.
Yes.
One of the things I saw that you had several rave reviews, and many say that the bedrooms were spacious and extremely comfortable. So 14 bedrooms. Do you use any special bedding or sheeting? Like, what is the trick to make them so comfortable?
Alicia told me that she gets the sheets mostly from Home Goods, but she gets the highest thread count. So we get the best mattresses, we get the highest thread count sheets, we get the best pillows. We want people to come in and to rave. We love raving reviews, and that's what gets repeat business in the vacation rental industry. So we go overboard to, everything from when you walk in and there's popcorn and cookies and wine and this type of thing, to having, chairs in the bedrooms and places that you can put all your luggage and your clothes if you're there for a week. And so, the furnishings are high end, but we try to do that at a good price if possible.
Yeah. So when, I think we shared that we do a lot of work in Guatemala, and we're getting ready to go in June. And when we stay with Paula and Fontaine Green there, who are our home, like your home is, to missionaries that come to you, they're our home there. And they have, I don't even know how many houses and rooms and
it's a compound.
But we have, most of the rooms we stay in are 12 bunk beds. So it's, girl, boy, split up. And it's amazing how comfortable, and totally fine being in a room with 12 girls as in bunk beds. So do you have a lot of bunk beds in those rooms or not?
Out of the 14 bedrooms, I think 4 of them are bunk rooms, and we have built-in bunks. And so there's a fine balance here in the rental industry. Everybody wants king beds if you're by yourself, if you're with a couple. And so we have about 10 bedrooms that either have king beds or queen beds, and then we have 4 bunk rooms. Of course, we also have a theater that has 16 seats, and you can sleep in there too. But we do have 4 bunk rooms, so we try to find the balance of having nice master suites. And then right outside of that room, we try to have a bunk room where a family can come, or you can put in one section of the house, 6 or 8 people. So we do have a few bunk rooms, but we got to balance that everybody loves master suites. And so we want as many of those as possible as well.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Mm-hmm. When we were working with our friend in Hilton Head who built a large home for rental purposes from the get-go, she had several of the bedrooms. The bed was kind of like backed up against a window, and it was a little awkward. And I was like, why did you do that? She was like, oh, king beds. Everybody wants king beds. I just had to get the king bed in there. Mm-hmm. So, it worked out. So that's really interesting that you find that.
I would tell people in the vacation rental industry, if you've got a queen bed, or even worse, you've got a twin or a full in their bedroom, everybody loves king beds. And even guys don't mind sharing a king bed occasionally. I mean, everybody likes to have their own bed, but if you're going to share, it better be a king bed, because there's not 2 guys going to cozy up on a queen or a full,
Mm-hmm. Well, you've had to learn so much along the way. I mean, did you this was not something you ever really planned to do. And so you've had to, how did you learn about, did you have people giving you advice? How did you even begin to
market yourself?
Yeah.
That is just something I did not know anything about and have just learned over time. I feel like it was just a lot of trial and error. And so I wish I could say that I've got people coming to me now asking for advice, and I got to tell them, listen, when I might be smart about it now, but when I first started, I didn't know anything about it. And so I've learned through trial and error, and so, but I've also learned a lot about marketing and branding. And we created this, one day after we were in the middle of building this thing, my mother-in-law came to me, and she gave me this little figurine of an ark and Noah. And she goes, you remind me of Noah. You're building this thing like in the worst time. And we'd been looking for a name for months for this place. And all of a sudden, the light came on. This is the ark. This is the ark. This is a place of peace and refuge.
It's a perfect name.
And we had goats and chickens and alpacas while we were there with the kids growing up. And then I also did feel like Noah, because in the worst economy that we've had in years and years, we're adding on and building, and and people thought we were crazy. So I did feel like Noah. So that when that name came to us, I was like, okay, my goodness, this is the ark. And that's when I started adding more branding and started doing some more marketing. But I didn't know what I was doing. I've got a great team around me. My father-in-law helped renovate the house while we were living in Augusta. Dick Young is his name. And then I've got great people all around us that are helping us to do this. But I started building a website a couple years ago. And that's been amazing, because we do most of our own bookings now. Google AdWords has been amazing. So when people just type in, vacation, rental, family reunion, lake house, or corporate retreat near Atlanta, we come up, and we've got ARK branded waters and candies and all kinds of things now that we're using. And so the whole marketing and branding thing has been something that I didn't know anything about, but I feel a little bit like an expert now because I'm 6 years into it and have learned a lot.
So do you do your own social media, or do you have somebody doing it for you, like when you're posting on Facebook or Instagram?
Right now it's me. I've had other people that have done it in the past, but I really am learning that myself, and I'm learning about hashtags and Instagram and all these things. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've got
proud of you, though.
Yeah. You've really. I'm sitting here trying to think, because when I was doing the research for unique vacation rentals, I found. I mean, there are vacation rentals all over the world, and I thought, wow, how crazy! I found this place on Lake Lanier, and I found a place in Greece, and all these kind of cool places, but you came up pretty quickly, so you must be doing something right.
Did you have to pay for the Google AdWords? How does that work? Because we haven't done that for ourselves.
It's worth it, because unless you go to VRBO or Airbnb or TripAdvisor, you can find us. And I do stick out like a sore thumb at the ARK because we can sleep 45. There's no other places around that can really sleep that many. But, yes, I pay money every time somebody clicks on that. So don't do it just for fun.
Gotcha.
I'm paying $1 or $2 for that. But, if somebody just wants to Google this stuff, that's really the only way for them to find you. And maybe there's some search that you can organically get in. But really, Google AdWords is the best thing I've done to get new business over the last year and a half. I've got full media here in town helping me run that campaign, and it's not cheap. But my first month doing it, I got a 10-day rental in July of last year, and that paid for everything that I've done so far through it. So it's not
awesome.
cheap.
So
really great.
With your photography, are you doing that yourself, or did you have it professionally done?
Well, that's a good question. We were doing it ourselves, and it wasn't very good. And I had a lady named Tracy Cousineau that's a great Atlanta real estate agent, and she's got her whole team. And she came up and rented the ARK last year, and she was kind enough to send her team ahead of time because they have amazing photography. And she did photography in every room. She did a 3D video for me that you can walk through every room. And so Tracy Cousineau really helped me. And when I saw the quality of the photographs that she did for me, I started using those and got rid of all my own because they're just amazing. And I got to tell you, people say that even the new photographs still don't capture the essence of the ARK, and it's better than it looks. But those are the best pictures I've ever seen, and they're amazing. And so
worth it.
Oh, it's so worth it. People have these horrible pictures on.
We know.
It's ridiculous. But pay somebody $500, $1,000, whatever it costs to do this. It's so worth it. Absolutely.
Definitely the return on that investment. The other thing that you have on your site that I think is really cool, because it's so large, is all of the floor plans. And so it gives people an idea. So let's say, 5 or 6 couples are looking to come, and they can look at the floor plans and say, well, that's the bigger room. I think I should get that.
Yeah,
so it's nice to see the flow.
Everybody was asking about it all the time. And so this Nathan Curran that's helping me with the website, I kept on giving him more and more stuff. And I said, listen, everything that people are asking me, I can have it all on the website. And so we put those down, and now I get, instead of getting 3 asks a week for the floor plans, people know they're on the website, and they have to plan this out if they're coming, bringing 40 of their closest friends to the ARK. They have to plan out who's sleeping where and all this. So it's been that's been a great thing to have, and we keep increasing our stuff on the website to get fewer questions to me, I guess.
Well, I wanted to save some time because it's obvious from your website that you give back to several organizations and ministries. Was that always a goal? When you started this, did you say we're
going to pay it forward from the beginning, kind of thing?
That's where this whole thing started. If I have to get back to it, I think God led us to this place. We have a heart for ministry and for giving, and the ARK has been nothing but a vehicle to be used for giving. And so we've shared the place and wanted to use it for missionaries since day one, and we still are able to do that. People ask me what my occupancy rate is, and I said, I don't know, because we use it for ministry so much. I like to keep this thing filled. I don't have any empty weekends because we have ministries and and churches and groups coming in all the time to use it. So it's been a great vehicle for giving. And there's some great ministries that we work with, and this has been a big part of our life is letting them use this place. And it's such a place of peace and joy, and people's lives get changed when they come and they're doing ministry stuff. There's a retreat right now there, Center for Inner Healing in Dahlonega is doing a retreat. Carrie Johnson is over there right now for the full week, and it's some amazing stuff going on. And so the ARK just lends itself to this peaceful environment. And I think there's just a call on the place that I think is from above. And so we feel like we're just stewards to use it. And so we charge a lot of money for the ARK, for family reunions and corporate retreats, but then we do a lot of giving of it away. And it's a great place for gathering that type of ministry.
That is so awesome. I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about this, because I think it's just a wonderful thing that you're doing, and you probably feel very lucky to be able to do it.
Absolutely. So such a blessing to be able to do it.
Joanne and I have embraced charity from the very beginning for 14 years now. And it's really, I think, well, not only does it make us feel really good and takes us away from sometimes the overabundance in the luxury design world. Once we come back from Guatemala and we come back and we're looking at what we're creating in these $1 million homes, we're like, there's a disconnect here. But it makes us feel, it just grounds us, and it makes us feel so good. And I think that it's a way for our clients and our, everybody that is around us to see a little more personal side of us, and to see that, and all in all, at the very end, what really matters is giving back and paying it forward, because we are very blessed, and we never, ever forget that. And so, meeting people like you who just live and breathe that philosophy for us is really, it just makes us feel really good.
Well, I was wondering how you guys got started in Guatemala. You got some great connections there, it seems like. We
do, and it's a long story that we don't have
probably listen to on one of our podcasts.
Yes, it's okay. we did do a whole podcast on it, but we started years ago, and we build homes, and we bring teams every year, and sometimes our teams are 10 people, sometimes there are 30 people, sometimes we build one house, sometimes we build 3. Last year we did a shoe drive of over 2,000 shoes, and outfitted every child in the village we were working on. And it just, it's just a way to get away for a week and be, just humble. So, yeah. All right. Well, stay with us for one more second, because we end every podcast with a funny quote and an inspirational quote. So what do you want? Which one do you want today?
I'll do the funny one, because it just struck me. I don't know. Sometimes I read these and they're really funny when I first see them, and then, but no, today it's still
and then
funny.
You hope everybody else thinks they're funny?
It's still funny to me. So the funny quote is, I saw a guy at Starbucks today. No iPhone, no tablet, no laptop. He just sat there drinking coffee like a psychopath.
That is hilarious. I know. I had a contractor working on my lake house, and he didn't have a cell phone. Like, he just period doesn't have one. I'm like,
what's wrong with him?
Are you okay? Is there something wrong with you? Yep. All right. Here's your inspirational quote from Sarah Blakely, who's the founder of Spanx here in Atlanta, and she is the most amazing woman. When I started my business, I didn't have the most money or the most experience, but I cared the most. And I think that circles right back to the ARK, if you ask me.
Any business owner can completely relate to that.
Yeah. Well, the successful ones, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So Jeff, we want to thank you again and tell everybody, if you are looking for a corporate retreat, a family reunion, the most amazing place to have a special experience, look up the ARK on Lake Lanier. It's sure to be something special. Yep.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, thank you for sharing your story. So I think that's it for today, huh, Joanne?
Yeah,
all right.
That's it. It was a good one.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrak Cole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrak-cole.com for more information.